In 1791, the Bill of Rights was ratified to the Constitution, which included the Second Amendment, which states that a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. In 1934, the National Firearms Act, NFA, was passed, becoming the first gun control legislature to be enacted in U.S. history. The NFA placed a tax on the production, sale, and transportation of firearms. In 1938, the Federal Firearms Act, FFA, was passed, making guns only available to those with a federal firearms license, and restricting convicted felons from purchasing guns. In 1939, the Supreme Court ruled that there was no evidence to support that a sawed-off shotgun has some reasonable relationship to the preservation or efficiency of a well-regulated militia, and thus we cannot say that the Second Amendment guarantees the right to keep and bear such an instrument. In 1968, the Gun Control Act, GCA, was passed, banning the import of guns with no sporting purpose, restricting the purchase of guns to those 21 or older, prohibiting felons and the mentally ill from purchasing guns, and requiring all guns to have a serial number. In 1986, the Firearm Owners Protection Act was passed, prohibiting a registry of gun dealer records and loosening regulations on the selling and transporting of ammunition. In 1993, the Brady Handgun Violence Prevention Act was passed, requiring the completion of background checks before a firearm is purchased. In 1994, the Public Safety and Recreational Firearms Use Protection Act was passed, banning the ability to manufacture, transfer, or possess a semi-automatic assault weapon and certain high-capacity ammunition magazines of more than 10 rounds. In 2003, the Tiahrt Amendment was passed, prohibiting the public release of data showing the location of where criminals purchase guns, and allowing only law enforcement or prosecutors to see this information. In 2005, the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act was passed, which served to prohibit causes of action against manufacturers, distributors, dealers, and importers of firearms or ammunition products, and their trade associations, for the harm solely caused by the criminal or unlawful misuse of firearm products or ammunition products by others when the product functioned as designed and intended. Firearms are placed in three broad categories: handguns, rifles, and shotguns. Rifles and shotguns are both classified as long guns. Firearms can be semi-automatic or fully automatic. Semi-automatic guns fire a single bullet for each pull of the trigger. Fully automatic guns fire several bullets with just one pull of the trigger. According to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, a handgun is defined as a weapon originally designed, made, and intended to fire a projectile or bullet from one or more barrels when held in one hand. The ATF defines a rifle as a weapon designed and intended to be fired from the shoulder and to use the energy of the explosive in a fixed metallic cartridge to fire only a single projectile through a rifled bore for each single pull of the trigger. The ATF defines a shotgun as a weapon designed and intended to be fired from the shoulder and to use the energy of the explosive in a fixed shotgun shell to fire through a smooth bore either a number of ball shot or a single projectile for each single pull of the trigger. With a total of about 270 million guns owned, the U.S. is ranked first in international gun ownership rates with 88.8 guns per 100 people. Guns are the leading cause of death by both homicide and suicide, accounting for 66.6% of all homicides and 52.2% of all suicides.